Hello and welcome to Broker Than You. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I would like to thank our sponsors at Procyon. Procyon, one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz is a proud supporter of our podcast network. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Rennell Jump and UConn legendary men's basketball player Jake Voskuhl. They specialize in tax plans for businesses large or small. They will save you money or get you a big fat return. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch in the Finch Law Firm is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Pete also has the best advertisements, commercials, billboards, you name it. He is the Better Call Saul of Connecticut. If you suffered any type of personal injury, slip and fall, a car accident, your mother-in-law decided to run you over with her car, your wife got angry one night, she decided to stab you, the Finch firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all across the state of Connecticut, and he will go to war to get every dollar you deserve in compensation. All you have to do is remember, in a pinch, call Finch. Dynamic Human Performance is owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. He trains boys and girls of all ages, all sports. He has a boot camp program 7 days a week, 6 a.m. You want to get in shape, you go to Andre. He has an athletic development program where he trains boys and girls in the sport of their choice from the ground up, helps them to reach their full potential, be the best they can possibly be. Andre has sent boys and girls to college on scholarship for all different types of sports. He has a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility in Hartford, Connecticut. So if you want to work with the best, go to www.dynamichumanperformance.com. All right, and we are here for Inspire Synergy. And with us, the manager, the man who makes the magic happen, the man who makes the house run, Mr. Marcus. I have no idea how to say your last name. Is it Sly?
Indeed.
Slee?
Sly.
Sly. Okay, it was Sly.
Yes, you got
Okay.
it. You got
I got it right. I'm very bad with pronunciation and enunciation. But I wanted to get you on because you have obviously the most relevant information and knowledge of the struggle and what has been going on, especially at the House of Changes, which you do so many things for. And I know that you had, I believe, a bed open or two. How has that been going? Have you been able to get it filled, or is there anything open still?
Well, we have some potential residents that may be joining us soon. I'd say
Oh,
about the first week or
oh, that's
or
right.
mid. or mid-December. But thing is, you know, the challenge that we face, and I'm sure a lot of other recovery homes face this challenge as well, is that some of these men and women, they're faced with the most horrendous circumstances when it comes to finding housing.
Yeah.
And
There's a lack of it everywhere.
and yes, and some have good intentions for themselves, but like I said, the challenge that we keep running into is that we're meeting people where they are,
Correct.
and we're meeting these men where they are in their recovery.
Correct.
Some have I've seen a man throw away a solid foundation in his recovery of almost 2 years. Just throw that
That's
completely
what,
away.
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
And well, we have one that comes off of a week long binge and maybe has a good foundation for a few weeks
Yeah.
and then decides to go back out and pick up again.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of other facilities that are faced with these challenges as well. And we're navigating the best possible outcome for these men still. We're not in the habit of
Well,
just,
I mean, you've only been
okay,
doing it a year, so you're still
yes,
learning.
yes. And but aside from that, what we also see is that a lot of these other homes, they just, they kick you out. They kick you
Yeah,
out.
they
They're
do.
done.
They do.
They're done with you,
Your bags are
basically.
packed. Yeah.
Exactly. So what we would like to see happen for them is maybe give them another chance to detox,
Yep.
get treatment for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then come back with a better attitude and uh, possibly put more effort into their recovery. Because
Yeah.
ideally, we're faced with the challenge that hey, some people are just not ready, but they want to use, but we don't like, and this goes for any one of us. We like to
Sure.
use, but we
Sure.
don't like the consequences that comes with that.
Accountability. Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
And I know Razul had mentioned that two men went into a PHP program, and if the beds were open and they could pay, they were going to try to hold the beds for them. Is that
yes,
still viable with the two
yes,
guys?
indeed,
Okay,
it
good.
is. And I
That's
actually just spoke to one of those guys, and he's scheduled to be
really
discharged. Yes, first week of December.
okay.
And he sounds promising, of course.
But
But
this goes back to the debate that I've had with Razul and Ja. I firmly am against them in believing that you can have a man in a sober house who has days and weeks of recovery in their belt, and they'll be able to function and be able to have success. I think that's setting them up for failure. I think they need longer treatment like what you're doing now with the PHP. And I think once someone goes through that, then you can put them in a sober house environment where they're looking for jobs, where they're looking to contribute more. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you feel that? It obviously is more challenging and
the
more work for
statist
you.
the statistics are debatable. Of course they are,
Yeah,
but it really, Cully, it really solely depends upon the individual.
the person,
You
right?
know, you can't say what is enough or what does it really take. Because, like I said, I know cases where men and women have thrown away decades of recovery.
Yeah,
You know, and
yeah,
I've seen someone get it right.
right away.
Like this. For instance, the individual that we had that I don't want to call his name out, but
Of course.
he had it. He was our first successful discharge, and this kid was great. He's phenomenal. He has a great career ahead of him. He has his own place now.
Yep.
I mean, he just did a complete turnaround,
Yeah.
from how he was described to me at first, and then when I met him in person, I couldn't imagine that was the same kid that they were telling me about.
Yeah. You
But
would.
this kid, I mean, like I said now, and I'm saying kid for a reason, because
Yeah.
he's the youngest resident that we've had.
Right.
And he displayed that exceptional example that we're looking for. And of course, we want to work with younger men and women.
Yeah.
And of course, that's the ultimate goal to
You have a
reach
better
them.
chance to make a difference and kind of, change the direction of younger people
Of
than
course,
older ones who have been in the game for a while. So I totally
yes.
get that. I
Because I got
totally.
this thing. If you make it back, hey, man, I love that. I love that for anyone. But I'm not one of those people where I want to open up my drawer and you see a bunch of white chips or white key tags. That's what they give beginners when they start over. I want to be that person that I know that I've given this 100% of my effort, and that's what it takes. And that's why I said it solely depends upon the individual. Has this
Right.
person really had enough yet?
Right.
And there's no way we can pinpoint
You
that,
can't know. You're not
you
in their head.
know?
You don't know. You don't know for sure. So, I mean, realistically, you're not definite. I mean, you would not be against someone who has a week of sobriety. You have a bed. Let's take him in, see what
Of
happens.
course not. Of course not. We would definitely welcome that person as well.
Okay. And obviously, you guys have done things the right way where if there is a situation, you have given people second chances and
Yes.
you have taken them to detox, you have gotten them into PHP programs, you at least have places where you can send them where, like you said, other places just put you on the street. They pack your bags, put you on the street. You guys don't do that. You guys at
No.
least have a plan in place for how to handle it. My concern has always been you are the glue. I mean, you do everything for the men in the house, and
Thank you.
I
Thank
mean
you.
that's why
I try.
I've talked to Razul and Ja about trying to get out there and trying to help because if you were able to get some things taken off your plate, you would be able to do more. I mean, because you're driving guys everywhere and going to meetings. I mean, cooking. It's so much that goes into it, managing a house like that.
Yes.
Um, and you meet with the guys a lot, whether you have your group meetings. Um, do you meet with them one on one during the week at all?
I do. I do. I meet with the men individually, and we had a group setting, and we had a designated day for those group meetings.
Yep.
But
Okay.
the issue we kept running into is that the men have very different schedules as far as employment
With
goes.
work, right? Yes.
Yes. So, I would rather have a designated time to where I could have at least most of the men present for that.
Right.
And we were like 50-50. So what I started doing was meeting with the men on an individual basis. And
Right.
that's another thing, a lack of participation, because like I said, we're not forceful.
You
We're
can't
not forceful with
unfortunately you
with
can't be.
things because I believe that builds up a resistance already.
It
And
does.
it's some
It becomes
and it's
defensive.
somewhat it somewhat reminds these men and women of an authority figure or probation officer or
Yeah.
that that
That they feel.
counselor that really doesn't care about them. They're just getting a paycheck, so to speak.
Right.
But what so with that, like I said, we're meeting these men where they are. And so we have the house guidelines and their structure alone in that, if they take heed to it. But also meeting them where they are, I give them the opportunity to, because I feel like if a person ideally knows what's best for them and where they go wrong at, I really do think so. And because I know there's different avenues in recovery. I believe that firmly. But I know the best avenues are what's been practiced already because the programs do work. AA, NA, those things work, you know. But if you don't do the work, it's
Yeah.
not all about putting the drugs and the drink down. You have to do
No.
the work. You have to do that work that's internal. And some of the men are not doing that. And
Right.
they're doing what they think we want them to do to please us. And not
Right.
seeing the benefit and not seeing the benefit of the structure that's easily implemented in the guidelines and expectations.
To really do it for themselves. I mean,
Yes.
you're trying to help them understand, like, you're not doing this for me or Razul or Ja. You have to understand you're doing it for yourself. This is your life. We're
Yes.
trying to get you back on track. We're trying to better your life, your situation. Uh, because you're going to AA, NA, working the program, you have to understand that's not for us. That's for your benefit.
Of
And
course it
once
is.
you have that acceptance that this is for my benefit, this is what's gonna can help me with long-term sobriety, that's gonna make a difference once they
So
understand.
so in my eyes, it makes perfect sense because okay, they they relapse. And then, you know, we are made aware of that. Okay, so now this is our course of action that we take
Yes.
with them. It's not like we're anticipating them to fail. No.
No, of
But
course
in
not.
case but in case you do, okay, now this is our next course of action. But are you mindful that you tried to do things your way? Now let's try to do things the right way.
And that's 100% true. Everyone does try to do things their own way and
Yes.
thinks that their way will work. And it does take two or three times or more to realize my way of doing things probably isn't the best way. Maybe I should try the way that's being taught, the way that I've seen other men have success, and I can do it, and just see how it works and try it out. And you know, you're very knowledgeable and very easy to talk to. I can see you developing very good relationships with the men in the house. How do you feel as far as that, especially establishing trust? Because that's huge. You know, having that with the men in the house, being able to win over their trust, because that's not easy to do.
Well, I tell them all this. The moment they step foot in that door, they already have trust and respect. It's a given,
Which
you
is
know.
huge.
And I treat them like men.
You
Treat
do.
them
I
like
know
men.
you do.
It's not a this is not a prison for you,
You
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 know.
have fought for them for the scheduling, you know, to help them with work. I mean, you've done a lot. You always advocate for them, and I
Yes.
think that that makes a difference.
So so I give them the opportunity to tell me what is the experience that they want to have while being with us. And once they relay that to me, some are already in relationships when they come in. I don't
Really?
think I can. Yes, I don't think I can advise them not to be in a relationship with anyone. I can
Uh,
tell them my experience with that.
relationships that don't usually work out well, but
It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. And that's a very high percentage that it's not going to work out at
it
that
doesn't.
this that early into your recovery process.
No.
But as I said before, I
Yeah.
give them the opportunity
Yeah.
to let them see if they can put into practice what they think is best for them. And if it works, I tip my hat to them.
I
But
listen. I would too.
and I love to be wrong. Coley, I love to be wrong
I
sometimes.
love to listen for that. 100%. I do jumping jacks to be wrong.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
are relationships allowed in the house? Do you allow the women to come in?
Yes, of course. They can bring over a guest. They can
Okay.
bring over a guest, and of course, There's no spending the night.
Of
There's
course.
no there's no taking someone up to your room
Of course not.
and
Right.
you're just stuck in the room while
Yeah.
your roommate is elsewhere.
Right.
No, you got to respect that space. So we do allow visitors,
Yeah.
and of course there's a a den and a living room for the community of the house, and everyone has access to that. And I actually like to see that. You
I do
know,
too.
I like to see them engaged and have some sort of
I
support, and
think it's
especially
huge.
especially if they're honest enough about the person that they're inviting over.
Right.
Is this person clean, sober, and healthy for you?
That's what I was just going to
You
ask.
know, so that's
Yeah.
a very big deal of mine, because if it just really defeats the purpose if you have
Yeah.
a significant other
You can't bring
or an
someone.
acquaintance that is still engaged in active
Yeah.
substance use.
That's the worst thing possible to bring in to that environment, to such a good environment. And obviously, you can't drug test them or anything when they come in. But would you
No,
say the majority of the men who are in relationships are in good relationships with people who are either clean or in recovery, or is it 50-50?
I'll say it like this: I'm not the investigative type.
Yeah, I know.
To
No,
an
neither am I.
extent,
Yeah.
I'm going to let them give me, uh, you know, present your integrity,
Yeah.
present that to me, present your case, be honest enough. Now, if this is what you say, I'm going to go by that. If you're telling me that I have nothing to worry about when you go interact with this person, then I'm going to believe you. But I'm always going to be watching their actions
Well, because you
within
care
that
about
time frame. Yes. So
you care about
if the math is not mathing as they say, then of course I'm gonna know that, hey, you're full of it, basically. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
you're lying. Some may not even be in a relationship. They may just be making it up.
yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
You never
You
do.
know?
You never do. One of the things Razul and Ja had mentioned that had kind of been a struggle was getting activities, getting the men to hang out together as a group. Has that been something that you would say is a struggle? Is that something you would say has improved? I know he mentioned trying to take them bowling or trying to take them to the movies. I know you've cooked dinner. Have you been able to get them together?
Those things were successful. Let me say this. Early on, those things were very successful.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to feel like the men thought it was mandatory. So they were not doing it to really engage.
Yeah.
Now you can't help but you share a room with someone, you're gonna get to know that person.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I can settle for that. I can settle for that.
Right.
But in certain instances, like recently we had our celebratory
Yeah, the one
first,
year,
first year dinner. Yeah.
which is huge.
And I only had two men that were really willing to participate in that.
Are you serious?
I am serious. And
Two
I
men?
think I cook great. I
That's what
think
they
I
said.
cook
They
great.
said you cook great. They said you cook great. So
And who
did,
who turns down free food?
did everyone in the house come, or only two men came? Are you saying?
Two men were present. There was a third man that, he did work a morning shift that day, so he came in and went straight to bed. But
That's disappointing.
it is, but it's not. It's not.
No?
Because I don't, they here's just my this is just me personally. I just believe that I'm not gonna be forceful
No,
with the
you're
men.
not.
Of course.
No.
I give them the opportunity. If
Yeah.
if they some may suffer from some form of trauma that they have not addressed and they don't like to be around people.
Right.
I have to accept that as well.
I understand that.
So you never know what's happened to a person. So I don't take it no kind of way. If
No.
that's if they're comfortable with that, I would love to say everyone is exemplifying exceptional progress with their recovery. But sometimes I just have to say they're stable, and I just have to accept that.
And that's not bad, being stable. You'd like to see them continue to progress, and
Yes,
that's where I think, talking with those guys, being stable, once you get to that point, that's when you really are comfortable in, I believe you should be comfortable in your sobriety. And that's where maybe you can look to start advancing other parts of your life. Maybe you can look to find another job or other employment. Maybe you can look to get into a relationship. If you really feel stable in everything that you're doing, then move forward. You don't always need to stay in the same place. And I know it's tough because you're comfortable when you're stable. You're very
yes,
comfortable. You're in the same place. You're happy, and it's uncomfortable to move forward, to try new things, and be uncomfortable. People don't like doing that. So I totally get it. Razul and Ja also mentioned trying to develop a partnership with one of the job corps, or to help the men maybe learn a trade, or help them with job skills to put out applications and apply for jobs and different things like that. What would you say on that status? And would you say the men that have jobs, are they happy with those jobs, or do you think that they could do better?
I say that we all can do better. You know,
Yeah, I agree with that.
there's always room for improvement. But
Yep.
what I have witnessed so far. Some of these men have incredible backgrounds with. Um, let me put it the way one of the men said it to me. He said he's a jack of all trades, but he's a master of none. So
That's very true of a lot of people.
yeah, so some have had great job opportunities or careers rather before their addiction completely took
Right.
over, and some have been given the opportunity to go back to that. Part of that process, just making amends, or hey, I
Wow.
just reached out to my old employer, and you know what? Guess what? He wants to give me my old job back. So I ran into those things. A major concern of mine now, job readiness is something that we implement, whether it's working on a resume,
Right.
or even if one of the men aspire to go back to school to continue their education. All of those things, I think we're willing to help them navigate that
You would
process and see
support
what's
that,
available
absolutely.
for them. Yes. But with these older men, my biggest thing is most of the older men, they may get some form of SSI or some form
Yes.
of financial assistance. They can't live off of that,
No, it's not
you
enough.
know?
It's not
They
enough.
can't live off of that. So what we want to do is try to find things that are available for
Right.
them. You know, most of them don't realize they have the world in the palm of their hands. They don't really even know how to navigate their cell phones.
Yeah, they don't know technology. Yeah.
Send an email, you
Yeah.
know, know even how to just to participate in a virtual online class.
Exactly.
So those are the things that we want to prepare them for. And then some have physical limitations as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
And we want to seek out resources for them or employment opportunities for them. So
Right.
we're looking at a very, very big
Broad.
scope, broad
Yeah.
scope of what is available.
Yeah. You need the broad resources to find availability for people in different stages and people with different job prospects, to where
Yes.
they can survive. Because you're right. I mean, you can't live off SSI. You need more than that. And paying rent, and with food and everything else that goes with it, you need a substantial income. You need more than $1,000. I mean, you need $2,000 a month to
When
get
I
through.
hear, I don't mean to cut in, but when I hear them tell me how much they draw a month from SSI, the only thing I can imagine for them is after they're discharged, they're either going to live with a relative,
Right.
or you can
Yeah.
envision them in some little studio apartment,
Yeah. Yeah.
Section 8.
Yep.
You get it? And I don't think anyone really wants to live like that. At least not, you know, I would want more for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know that Razul and Jad, I mean, the real estate, they're building that big apartment complex in Norwich, and they want to provide affordable housing. Would you see like a second step possibly down the road for the House of Changes in providing affordable housing, a chance for, the men to get a nice townhouse or even own a small house, something like that?
Yes, 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 indeed.
Good.
Because for one, with us and by the men coming from House of Changes, then that means we're willing to vouch for them. They have a successful discharge. We're willing to vouch for them. So there will be no, we already have a background check. We already know that, their credit is not good, so
Correct.
we would be willing to support that. And also saying that that means that we would also have jobs maybe in place for them already.
Correct. Which we're
So they
trying to.
wouldn't, yes. So that would all be a part of the bigger picture,
Yeah.
especially with that ownership eventually.
Yeah, we're trying to work on that. We're trying to work on getting more partnerships, more resources, and even something because I know you do so much. Is there currently right now like any case management that helps the guys with jobs?
Yes.
They
At
do have.
first, we have we brought two people on board within a short period of time. And I think the services that they were providing is something that I'd be willing to take on myself.
And that was something that I wanted to take on as well. I wanted to help
Yes.
them put resumes together. I wanted to help them get on LinkedIn, get on Indeed. And, once you get your resume up there, I was trying to tell Razul, you click once and you apply. You can apply to 50 jobs a day if you want. And that is important. So like you could do that. And that is something I think that would be helpful. But so you did bring on two case managers early,
Yes.
and what did you find with them? Was it a tough experience? Was it not as productive as you would have liked?
It was not as productive as I would have liked.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I believe I believe that the men did not really welcome the idea, especially after seeing or witnessing what I think they perceive as a poor performance of a case manager.
because the
And I'm
case.
just, I'm just being honest,
Well, because I'm sure the
because
case
they,
manager would shoot them down with like, you can't do this, this, and this. We may not be able to apply to this or this, and it's going to be unfortunate, negative for them, and insecurity
yes,
it'll build. And yeah, I could totally see that being negative, unless you. I mean, when I was in treatment, the case managers really had all been in recovery. So they kind of
yes,
knew how to talk to us, how to work with us, how to deal with us. If you're bringing case managers, from a business or off the street that don't understand the men and what they're dealing with, they aren't going to interact with them properly. And that's going to have a negative effect,
yeah. Because if you want to restore hope within these individuals,
which is huge.
you
Which is
you
everything.
need to first of all you need to be honest with them. You
Yeah.
know,
Transparent.
you need to be very honest, and you need to have all your facts. I want to give them realistic solutions. to the things that they are afflicted by. I want to give them realistic solutions. So that makes me want to do as much research that I can possibly do, especially throughout the region of New London and Norwich and
Right.
yes. So I can tell them, hey, this is possible. This can be done. Are you willing to do this?
So
They have training. They have training available. They have scholarships available.
yeah.
So that's where I've been very supportive at
That'll be
already with
a
the
big
men,
difference. Yeah.
because I'm not ever going to lie to them and let them know, hey,
Pie in the sky. Yeah.
you can be an airline pilot, tell them something like that, or hey, but who knows? But
Right.
restoring hope, you have to be honest with them. I don't want to give them no false hope.
No.
I want to
I
let
mean,
them know this is realistic. This can be done, and you can do it.
and because you know them best and you spend the most time with them, and hope and purpose is everything for helping you to kind of get out and move forward. Do the guys will they get together like last night or on a Sunday or Saturday? Will they watch college football together or Sunday football together? Or do they kind of do their own thing, would you say?
We've had all of the above what you just mentioned has
Oh,
happened.
okay.
So for certain things, I think we all did watch the Super Bowl once and maybe a
Okay.
little college football.
Yep.
But for the most part, like I said, again, you're dealing with men they have differences in
Different. Yeah.
shows that they like, things that they, like to watch. And most do have a television in their room. So they're like,
Yeah.
yo, nah, man, I'm cool on that, man. I'm gonna stick with this. I don't like to watch Chappelle episodes or
Yeah.
something like that, or whatever it may be. You get it? I like
Yeah.
to have fun though.
No,
Like I
I
say, I
agree.
like to
I
I
was the
like to
same.
engage. My door is always open for the man. If any other man ever suggests to me, hey Marcus, will you sit down and check this out with me? I think you'll like this. I'm open to that. I'm open
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah. We were not allowed to have TVs in our rooms. And when I was in treatment, I got into everyone watched Power on Stars.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
watched Power and I ended up loving it. I watched Power. And then the guys all loved watching Shameless was on at the time. We would watch Shameless, Power. It was just hilarious. And then, we would try to give control to one person a day, for an hour so they could put on what they wanted to try to spread it out. It was funny how it worked. But
Did they did they not have any guidelines pertaining to what was appropriate for you to view where you were at?
no, they did not, which was
They did?
shocking. Yeah, that was shocking. Yes, because Power would not be something you would want to watch in rehab. Yes, didn't even think of that. Yes, Power would not be a show you want to watch in rehab. Yeah, with the with
I
the
could
with the drug dealing that was going on in Power.
not early, not early. Of course,
Yeah,
not early. Maybe
yeah,
after you have some, you have a
yeah.
nice foundation under your belt. Because now I can actually watch things like that and just be like, huh, okay, that was very entertaining. You get it? That
Yeah,
was very entertaining.
yeah, that's right. I remember the first time I watched it, and I'm sitting here, I'm watching it, and it's all drug dealing and it's all fucking, and I'm like, this is what we're watching, and everyone's
you
into it. I'm like,
you
okay,
could
this
you
is
didn't
it.
stand a chance, did you?
I gave up. I mean, I sat on the beanbag and I watched, and after two episodes, I started to love Tommy, and then I got
Yeah.
it, and then I liked watching it. But it
Come
was it
on, man.
was
Who doesn't love white boy Tommy, man? Come on now.
Tommy's a man. Tommy's a man. And James St. Patrick, my God, he was just unbelievable. And that show, honestly, never got the recognition it deserved. I love the spin-offs that they've had off of it. But yeah, I mean, I forgot that was the first night I got into the house. That's what the guys were watching was Power, and they're like, "Come check this out." And because we all sat together, we were watching because we didn't have TVs in the room, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, "Wow, okay, this is what we're going with. This is legal, okay." I was just blown away. I was blown away by the sex scenes, and I was blown away by the drama. It
I
caught
can
me
imagine.
completely off guard. But what would you say are, we're going into 2026. What would you say would be the biggest things you would need or want provided to you, from Razul or Ja or the people of the House of Changes? And what would you say are the things that would benefit the men most?
I think we need more services. And let's just let me say this. And when I say services, these men need, if it's not affordable housing, they need opportunities to
Right.
increase their income.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
No, I
And,
agree.
and I
It's
and I hate
800
to say
a month.
I hate to say it like this, but money is everything right now.
It is. It is. I mean,
It is
800
everything.
bucks a month for a room ain't cheap.
It's not. It's not. But also, are we going to leave these men to just live a life of existing? And this goes for me as well.
It's true. Yeah.
I actually want to thrive.
Yeah.
I don't want it all. Don't get me wrong. I don't want it all.
No, but you have experience, that
Yes.
you're capable of advancement and capable of doing more. And
Because
you want to get there.
seriously, there's no there's no real sense in us restoring these men's hope if when they get back out into society that hope doesn't exist for them. If
Yeah.
doors remain closed, if our society is equipped to not want to give them a chance, especially after you have displayed that you have turned your life around, you have put forth the effort, you're clean, you're productive. I'm
That's
really that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, that's hard to deal with because you especially the men and everyone, you're putting in this time to benefit yourself, to change yourself, so you can restart your life and be a productive member of society, and like you said, not just exist but thrive. And
Yes.
we've seen that possible with many people have done that after dealing with addiction, and it is definitely contingent on having those services, having those resources. One of the other concerns I had was, because I spoke with Razul and Ja. Do the men? I know that you do it all. Do they get mental health treatment? Is that available to them?
Yes, we have put
Okay,
someone in place for that.
you do have someone. Okay,
But as well as of right now, most of the men who we have encountered have somewhat relayed to us they've already received that type of treatment before. And I
well,
don't know what their experience was like.
yeah,
Like maybe some of these places have made it mandatory that they receive
yeah,
some
they
sort of
do, they do.
And and so like I said, we give them that opportunity. We really do. We
But
put it on the table and we let
yeah,
them know it's available.
right,
And are you going to take advantage of the opportunity? Do you think this is something that you need?
right,
Oh, no,
right.
no, no, I'm good.
Oh, I'm
I don't
good.
know. And maybe I don't know if it's a matter of pride or what, you know?
No,
Uh,
no. I mean, it definitely where I was. I mean, it was mandatory once a week.
yes,
But that's why I ask because I talking with Razul and Ja. There's a difference between being a true sober house and running a treatment program. And
yes,
my sense has kind of been you guys are kind of in the middle. I mean, you do offer several things that a treatment program would offer, and but you're also a sober house trying to get men work. They're paying rent and they're doing all these other things. I kind of feel that they're in the middle. What would you say to that? Do you feel that you're definitely a sober house, or do you kind of feel like there are elements of a treatment program that are part of it?
definitely a sober house.
Okay,
And
good.
definite, and we have obtained some services that would deem us as we provide certain services
Right.
for the
Treatment.
continuation of treatment.
Right.
Yes. So yes, I would say we're right in the middle. We're
Right.
right in the middle because we
Right.
understand I understand it takes more than just having a job, going to meetings,
Yeah.
paying your rent. Like I
Yeah.
said, that makes you stable in my eyes.
That's it.
You're just stable.
It's existing.
You're just stable, you know. But
Do you-
but do you really want to, get into the mindset of challenging yourself? Do you want to get into the mindset of no, I need to face myself. I am the only thing that stands in my way.
yeah.
Until
It,
proven otherwise. Until proven otherwise, I am the biggest obstacle in my
it,
path right now.
it's tough to look in the mirror and do an honest assessment. Okay, this is where I am. This is where I am. I live here. This is my job. This is what I'm doing. This is where I am with family and friends. Okay, where do I want to be? Where do I want to go? And I remember, I know Rob, when he came on, Rob Hill, he talked the whole time. But I did agree with him when he said, write it down. Write down the things that you want to do. Write down goals and goals that you're looking for, and that'll give you a starting point for certain things to work for. Do you believe that going one way or the other? Okay, we're gonna focus strictly on being a sober house. We're gonna provide the resources and services to men, for getting jobs, for possibly job training, for possibly going back to school. Or do you think also trying to do some elements of treatment as far as maybe having I would make it mandatory, but like a mandatory morning group or a night group before you go to your AA meeting, something like that. um you know because you could do it, but if it's not where you want to be, what do you think would be the best direction for the house to go in the future?
I think funding for these services
Yeah.
is our first priority
Okay.
because we do want to implement a very structural program of recovery,
Yep.
stability. I'm serious. We want to give men the opportunity and eventually women too. We want to give men the opportunity to maybe come in and take the first few weeks or maybe even a month to just get settled and acclimated with the house,
Right.
maybe participating in some sort of groups that address
Right.
traumas, that address accountability, you know, and not just, it's not like, you got to stay in the house the first month that you're here. No, we just want to implement that structure, but we have to have the funding available in order
Right.
to
To
do
do
that,
all
of
that.
course,
Right.
because of course, you're like, well, 30 days of me not doing anything. Okay, well, think this is going to work for you. And let me show you how this is going to work.
Right.
So we
Right.
want to have a viable program for them so they can see the benefit of that.
Right. Right.
Because at first, like even just coming in and they're realizing, well, okay, I have to pay this deposit to even get in this house. And if they have some financial support, then they see the beauty of that, because that gives them 30 days to start working, generate some income, and then by the time they actually start having to when they have to start paying rent, most of them have a pretty good savings accumulated
They've been
already.
good about it. Okay.
Yes. So those are the things we hope for. So we know, like I said, funding is our top priority right now.
Okay.
So we can implement these services and
So
make it.
really, it would be, putting together a couple more fundraisers on a larger level to bring in that money
Yes.
would make a difference. If that funding did come in, if pie in the sky, $100,000 was raised or something like that, would there be a chance that they would possibly lower the rent to come in and still, be able to bring in a couple of services? Or do you see the rent obviously staying where it is, and you got to work with it and try to bring in different services to help them in?
Now I'm not the expert on that,
No.
but I can say this: that could go several different ways,
Yeah.
and all very beneficial to the men,
Yes.
because we could take it upon ourselves to maybe scholarship
Yeah.
every man in the house for like 60 days,
Yeah.
you know,
Which would be huge.
and yes, and give them that opportunity, 60 days to get stable with the employment.
Yeah.
So by the time we actually require them to start paying rent, they should be in a pretty good
They'll be
space.
they'll be in a good spot to do it. They'll be in a good spot.
Exactly. That's just 60 days.
Yeah, but 2
And then
months, I mean, that's a
man,
lot.
that's wow.
That's
And
yeah.
and then the services that can be, if we raised 100,000, wow, I could only imagine like what we could bring to the men.
Well, no, I talked to Ashley, and she met with a a friend of mine who's a fundraising expert. She worked at an animal shelter, and she fundraised more in 6 months than they did in 2 years. And she had an excellent idea to do a lottery, which I think we had to follow New York State guidelines, but I think it would work phenomenal for the House of Changes, where we printed up lotto tickets, we sold them for $100 each. We had 3,500, and we were going to give away $100,000, and we would keep the $250,000. And I sold a bunch of tickets. I sold 20. I mean, we had almost everything sold. We were ready to go with it before she left, and then she got a better job, and it worked out. It was successful, and that
Great.
is something that I think that could be done. And Connecticut is more affluent. I think you could get people to buy $100 tickets. You don't necessarily have to do 3,500. You could do 1,500, you could do 2,000, but something like that is very easy and there's no overhead. So that's what I had proposed to Ashley, and she is talking with my friend to try to do that. I know there's the December 5th thing coming up. I don't know exactly how that's working. Can you explain how that works?
Don't get me to don't get me to line. From what I
Well,
do know, it's
yeah,
it's a
training.
de-escalation event.
Yeah.
It's going to be about 4 hours, but from what I do understand, Ashley has been phenomenal with that.
Oh,
Let me just say that she's
nobody's
been
been better.
phenomenal.
She's done
Okay,
incredible work.
and so I've really just been going along with the flow. I can't lie to you, Coley. Sometimes I get a lot of information and emails throughout the day.
Yeah.
Not saying that I overlook. I ignore them, but
It's
I
a
have to backtrack because
yeah.
I'm always at the heart of
You're
the
dealing with the
operation.
guys every day.
You
Yeah.
know
You're on the ground floor.
exactly. But I'm looking forward to this event. I think we can get a great turnout with
So
those who
is
will
it
be available.
people pay to come in and it's a de-escalation course or something that he's doing?
Yes, yes. I
Or
think if I'm not mistaken, there's a lieutenant involved. I
okay.
I
Yes,
can't
Lieutenant
I can't
Kevin
mention
Dillon.
his name.
I
Dylan,
interviewed.
yes, that
I
you
interviewed.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And I believe he's going to facilitate over a
Okay.
training exercise that's going to bring
So
awareness
that's the purpose
to the
is
community. Yes,
to bring people in, and obviously you'll sell tickets or whatever for people to come in for it, and it's going to be 4 hours long. That's the first one she's doing on December 5th, and then I don't know what she's planning after that. But so the fundraising has got to be priority number one. We got to figure out ways to bring in more funds with less overhead, and that's going to make a difference. I know the fundraising dinner was great. It just I wish it had brought in a little bit more for you guys, but we can do them, and if we have to do one every month or one every 2 months, if there's a way to do it productively, and it's going to make a difference, I think that we should. But it's good to hear. I mean, you would say the men in the house right now are in a good place. You have a good chance of getting the two men back who went to the PHP program. I think that's awesome.
yes.
And you have just done a phenomenal job in a really difficult situation. Earning the men's trust, being there, driving them, for work, for meetings, and being basically a psychologist. It's not it's hard. I mean, it's not easy. Do you live in the house?
Of course, yes, I
Yeah,
do. I live
yeah.
amongst them, so it's hard not to develop a relationship
Relationship.
with the
Yeah,
men.
yeah. And would you say the relationship that they have with each other is good, or I mean, or do some of them kind of keep to themselves?
I mean, overall, everyone in the house gets along.
There's no
We have our little differences.
yeah,
Who opened up my food, or who helped himself to my food.
nice.
We have
That's
little
all.
arguments like that. Of
Yeah,
course, I'm guilty of that.
yeah, yeah.
But I'll replace it. But
Right.
I'm gonna ask first, and if I don't get a response, I may eat it anyway. And then
But
just replace. Now,
otherwise, everything is good with the men.
of
I
course
mean,
it is, man. Of
okay,
course it
good.
is. Like I said, it's hard not to be around these guys and not form some sort of bond with them.
Bond. Yeah,
Even when we have our differences of opinion.
yeah, yeah. Of
But
course.
because essentially, I want for every one of the men, I want for them what I want for myself,
Yeah,
and that's my attitude.
yeah.
With them.
Yeah, and you know, it's as I tried to tell Razul, you know, they're coming into this. They're at, a lot of them are at the lowest point they've been in, and you know, they don't have that confidence. They don't believe in themselves. They are very insecure, and you have to build them up. You have to have that positivity to where they understand. Like, listen, this is a bump in the road. It's not the end of the world. You can come back from this. This is something
Yes,
you
you
can come
can.
back. You have to
Yes, you can.
understand that, and you can come back and you can thrive. But it's you know, nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to be willing to put the time, effort, and desire into it, the dedication, and get out of it something productive. If
They have
you
to.
think it's going to be done,
They have to give themselves a fighting chance. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
give yourself a chance. If the world has turned its back on you, give yourself a chance. You know,
Absolutely.
I think the times that we're living in right now, you have to be as strong as you ever possibly can be,
Well, you
especially
do.
right now.
You do. You do. You do. I mean,
No,
the way our country has been this last year, I mean, it's challenging and it can be demoralizing. But yes,
yes,
you have to give yourself the best opportunity you can, and you have to understand everyone has something positive to offer. Everyone has a purpose, and that should give everyone hope. So that's
yes.
really what I would love to see for the guys. I just have to mention Julius Williams, Trench Mob, Georgia, Decatur, Georgia. He trains offensive and defensive linemen. They compete in 5v5 tournaments. They go to college showcase camps. Julius has sent kids to schools like Florida, Florida State, Miami, Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, just to name a few. If you want to work with the best, go to battleofthetrenches.com. And then we have James Whitfield of Luther James Insurance. He's dedicated himself the last 3 years for financial services, insurance policies, specifically life insurance. He will save you and make you a boatload of money and do so tax-free. He understands the concerns that go into retirement planning. How much do I need? For how long? Do I have enough? Because fear of the unknown is real. You can go to his website, lutherjamesinsurance.com. And then Rob Hill of R Hill Enterprises, Inc. Rob is a man of a jack of all trades and a master of all of them. He is a accomplished author, minister, and he also sells insurance. He works in all states, and he has several different policies that can work for you. You can go to his website, which is rhillenterprises.com. Message him on LinkedIn, and he also will work for you in any way he can. And he always tries to do the best for his clients. But so for Marcus Sly, who I said correctly, thankful, the House of Changes manager. Great conversation. Thank you for doing
Always
it.
great. Always great, Coley. And a
I
pleasure.
try to ask for you whenever I can. And it's good to know that the house is in a good place, and it's good to know what we can work towards moving forward. And we will definitely work on providing that for you to obviously continue to provide enrichment and help these men live productive lives.
Yes,
So
indeed.
for Marcus and the House of Changes, this has been Inspire Synergy. I am Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.